Hi, everyone. Here we are recording another program for Zena. And you've seen the two of us together just recently when we spoke about my experiences as an Indian diplomat posted to various places. And Meena ji was there. We had a couple of other people as well. But Meena ji, as you must remember from that day, has been various things. She's interacted with a lot of foreigners in a career as with the tourism industry, and she has been very vocal that day in her in expressing what she thought of these countries she's visited, people she's met from that country. It all turned out to be a very interesting kind of a discussion. At least I enjoyed myself thoroughly. And today we are back, but today we are there to discuss something much more, I wouldn't say controversial, I would say fun. What would you say, Meena ji? Because as you all of you would be looking at the topic and discovering that we are here to talk about this whole phenomenon of younger men being attracted to older women. Now we all have heard of a lot of these January, December, June, December pairings. On when where the man is much older than the woman. But today we're here to talk about the opposite concept because wonder of wonders, there are young men who find older women attractive. Despite the fact that the world is littered with women their age or much younger, but somehow older women attract them. Unfortunately, society still does not take it in its stride like it does an older man with a younger woman. So an older woman who is with a man like Priyanka Chopra, for example, she would generally be referred to as a cougar, and that is not a very appreciative term, or not even a something that makes you feel good about yourself. Although I feel that if you are in a relationship like that, from the woman's point of view, that should be something to be proud about, right? What say you, Meenaji?
Well, certainly, I don't know whether I could say proud about it. Maybe yes, but I find it very humorous also.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, this is a topic, we name them taboo topics. People don't want to speak about them.
Yes.
But it's very funny. I would not hesitate to say that society is very hypocritic on certain issues. That करते तो हैं लेकिन बोलते नहीं. You know,
that's
so
that's true.
they don't want to speak about it. They don't want to admit it, but they want to do it. You know,
Right.
so that is where we take off from. And as usual, I would rather be a good listener in the beginning and have your views on this and whatever. I would like to know from you, Sangeeta ji, as to what is it that really attracts younger men to older women. I'm not talking about experiences, somebody has had direct personal experiences. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a general concept as to what do you think that attracts younger men to older women.
Well, I'll begin with a little anecdote. When I was still in college, I had this friend who was a year or so junior to me, but she had, she came from a very liberal-minded family. They were, like the kind of things that my parents would think was an absolute no-no. Her parents were okay with that. Her family was okay with that. And much more than her parents, her grandmother was an amazing woman who in those days, I'm talking about the early 80s, early mid 80s. And she would openly tell all of us, you girls never get married till you've actually had a live-in relationship for at least 2 years, because, once you're married, things are very different. And try to, if possible, if at all possible, try to marry a man who's younger than you. And we were like, that was something that you normally did not really consider. And you'd ask her why. And she would say that if you are the older person in the relationship, then you set the tone. You set the tone of the relationship, how it goes. And that also means that a man respects you enough as a person to disregard this age difference, which is a societal taboo, as we were talking about. So that was her view. And to a large extent, I agree with that. Plus, I think why see in our older generations also, you would also be aware, it was never the case that no such marriages took place. I mean, very often I've seen, even including in my family, sometimes the woman was a year or two older. Of course, a year or two probably doesn't make much of a difference, and nobody really talked about it. But these were not love marriages. These were definitely, like marriages between families, and they selected the two people to be married, and it, for what other reasons outweighed this reverse age difference. So it's not that we, in India or anywhere, we have not heard of this, but now the fact that men who are given the liberty of choosing their own partners also sometimes go for older women is what we are discussing today. And I personally feel that one, probably they find the woman to be, these are men who probably have a bit of a mother complex, I would say, and they want someone to really, to understand them better, take care of them, and, really be there for them in many ways, which often they might find that younger women are not, because they are too, concerned with their own image, their own lives, how it's developing. They've got their career concerns, etc. Whereas an older woman would already be at a stage where she's done what she's wanted to do, and now she can actually pay attention to them. So that's my feeling, that despite the fact that the society does not accept that, there are a lot of men, especially now. In my friend circle, I've seen so many of them, people who've married women 12 years older, 14 years older, and they're happy. I mean, all of us felt, oh, this is just going to break in no time at all, because sooner or later, this man is going to get attracted to a younger woman, and then, the fireworks will start. But it hasn't happened. These marriages have turned out to be pretty stable. So my feeling is that it's a particular kind of man who gets attracted to an older woman. And because of that, the temptations of a younger lot, a younger model, probably, he's sort of immune to them. And that's how the relationship continues. What do you think?
You have made a very pointed statement, and that is that it requires a particular kind of a man. When we say why are younger men attracted towards elder women, we are not generalizing to 100% concept. We are definitely speaking about a percentage of men, or maybe some men, and from some mental pockets, I would say,
Yeah.
that very rightly. And another thing that you mentioned was very, very pertinent, and that is the Oedipus complex.
Yeah.
Men
This
who
complex has always been there.
are, men who are, many men, I would say most men idolize their mothers.
Yes.
The mother is the first heroine of their life.
Yeah.
And they want somebody like the mother, because on the other hand, a man is basically in some ways mentally lazy. And he wants to be pampered, he wants to be mollycoddled, he wants to be looked after, he wants somebody to really, really kind of dote over him and take care of him, kind of a thing. It is also an ego boosting factor, that माँ के लिए तो बेटा is the ultimate, na?
That's true.
So he wants a woman for whom he will be the ultimate, and that generally young हो तो एक competitive spirit आ जाती है.
Yeah.
So if she's older, then that competitive spirit is not there. So that is one thing which sort of supplements the theory of the Oedipus complex.
That's
Okay.
true.
Though that is not the only reason, there are many, many other reasons also. Would you like to name some more of them?
Well, one which probably some of the listeners may not be comfortable with, but I think it plays a role in these kind of relationships, is the fact that the man is more attracted towards somebody who's more experienced in every way, including sexually. So they feel that she will take charge in bed, and I won't have to do a lot of stuff, and she'll know various things that I don't know, and I can benefit from her experience. So this could also be one reason. Plus the fact that she's been there around it. And women, in any case, as we all know, we mature faster, right? I mean, a 15-year-old girl, for example, is far more mature than a 15-year-old boy. So when the age difference also, caters to this kind of maturity, then a man who is, who needs that kind of support and guidance in every aspect of his life is probably likely to be attracted to someone who can provide that to him. So I would say this, the experience factor in every area of life is also something that attracts these men. Any others that you would like to add?
Yes, experience is definitely the thing. Now, over here, I would also like to supplement this particular thing. When a woman is experienced, she is kind of quite assertive. And secondly, that giggly biggly thing is not there. And she takes charge, and she is on the spot. Like she doesn't, go around the merry, go around the bush kind of a thing. She
Yeah.
comes straight to the point. So he doesn't have to make excuses and this and that and all that. So that is also another thing, to the point kind of a thing. Uske saath mein you don't have to create an excuse and things like
Yeah,
that.
you don't have to create a persona that she would admire.
Yeah. So she knows what she wants and she can understand what he wants.
Yeah.
So there is no, dilly dallying
Conflict
about
of
it.
conflict of
There's
interest.
no dilly dallying. There's
Hmm.
no going round the bush kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Then the other thing is that, uh, but when I say assertive, I mean assertive and not aggressive.
Hmm.
Mind you, they love, uh, like we going back to the Oedipus complex, you
Hmm.
know. So the mother is not aggressive towards the son.
Yeah.
She may be assertive, but yet she's very doting, loving, and all that. So when they go for an older woman, they certainly don't go for an aggressive woman. You know, aggressive woman, whether young or old, is certainly a no-no for them.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
and then there are so many other factors besides experience. It is like, okay, she knows what he will want. She doesn't go around. She doesn't go beating around the bush and all that. And then she also knows how to steer clear away from trouble. you know a younger woman, are baap re, I've got pregnant now, what to do, this, that, and all that. So that also factor, because the older woman has her experience lined up behind her. She has her mind made up what she wants and things like that. She has her situation set and everything, and she will make sure that neither he nor she gets into trouble.
Hmm.
So that kind of confidence of situation is there.
True.
Then the other factor is, which may sound very, very mercenary, but it's the financial factor also. you
Hmm.
know like, with the younger women, okay, the man has to spend all the time and this and that and all that. So with an older woman, you can come straight. She also comes straight. Okay, this time you spend, this time I will spend. you know
So the
it's very
financial
clear.
factor
So
also.
the financial aspect also plays a role. you know
Hmm.
so that is again another thing. you know
Hmm.
and of course, एक एक बात है that a young female, very young, is definitely not as attractive as a mature, very assertive, and yet very feminine, graceful elderly. You
True.
know, when she has her grace, people get attracted towards that.
To that
The
confidence. Yeah,
not
absolutely.
only confidence, but her graciousness, her
Yeah.
gracefulness,
Which
and
comes
if
from confidence, I would say, because you know what
and
works for
uh,
you, what doesn't
I
work
don't
for you.
know
So
whether I would
it's
link it with confidence. Grace is something, जिसको बोलते हैं लज्जा, you know, that lajja thing. Many people term lajja as shame, as a matter. No, lajja is not shame. Lajja is a feminine grace.
mm,
कैसे वो मटक के चलती है, कैसे even despite her age, and especially a woman who has maintained herself, maintained her looks, maintained her body. She is far more attractive at an advanced
in
age
older
also.
age, yeah.
Yes, so that is also something which attracts a man. He look at her, I mean, at this age, and then she has achieved certain things, she has done certain things. So he looks up to her also, and things like that. So these are the things also which attract a woman, which attract a man towards an older woman. What do you say?
No, definitely. I totally agree with you. And plus, I was also thinking that, um, some of these relationships probably don't really turn into marriage as such, a formal marriage. And that is again something that, with an older woman, probably a man is more relaxed about these things. With a younger woman, with you sleep with her once and she says, now marry me. And with an older woman, probably there is this leeway that, you can take your time, think about it if you really want to get into a formal relationship or you want to keep it informal. So that pressure, that social pressure is off to a certain extent because the woman would also be like, fine, she's getting into a relationship with the acceptance of realities as we were talking about. So she may understand that this may not really turn into a formal, legally wedded kind of a situation, but she's okay with that. And the man finds that probably very relaxing for him. So I would say that, probably that's also one of the reasons why such, I'm not saying marriages, such relationships come into being and also work for sometimes for like, I would just like to mention without mentioning names, but one of my very old friends from school, he was married to this, they fell in love and, like they were happily married for, I would say 15, 16 years probably, and or more. And then suddenly one day, this woman, his wife, she walks out on him for a much younger man, a man who's like 12, 13 years younger than her. And he was devastated, as you can imagine, because, he still really loved her. And he still wanted her back, and he wanted to, he kept telling her, like, this thing is not going to work. He's 13 years younger than you. Sooner or later, he will want to, maybe he won't want to marry you. And she said, but I'm not looking for marriage. And he said, but, what about if he wants to get married? She said, fine. That means the relationship has run its course, and she just walked out with this much younger man. So there was a lot of acrimony, a lot of, you can imagine, my friend was devastated. But today, like 20 years later, that man, that younger man, and his ex-wife, they're still together, and they're living together without marriage. He doesn't want to get married to anybody else. She doesn't want to marry him because she doesn't want this whole bandhan of marriage and all that. And they're doing very well together. So this is something that really, I mean, I keep talking to him quite often. So, and from time to time, I do ask him, like, are you still in touch with your ex-wife? Because they have children together. And that's what he tells me, that, yes, we are still in touch now. Things have become much more friendly. And he told me they're still together, to my great surprise. So, this is something also that I think works for a relationship like this. And plus, Miraji, one more thing I wanted to say was, right in the beginning, I mentioned that it needs a particular kind of man for, this relationship to work. So that sort of, I implied, and then you also sort of took it up, thinking that, these are men who are, really looking for a mother figure and things like that, which is true. But the other aspect is also that the man is also confident enough in some way in himself to not be intimidated by a woman who's older and more experienced. So, like he goes for the comfort of that, a slightly unequal relationship without the doubts that a lot of men suffer about, because that's why many men tend to marry much younger women, because then they can establish the dominance, they can be the dominant partner in the relationship and all that. In this case, the man probably has the confidence in himself to realize that it's okay if she's the domineering partner, it's okay if she takes the lead, it's okay. So I think these factors also, like, yes, it's a particular kind of man, but he has two sides to the coin. One is this kind of dependency on an older person and the comfort level of knowing that you'll be taken care of, etc. And the other is the confidence of knowing that you can deal with it in the long run, that it won't put you off.
This particular factor which you have mentioned about the man, that he, though he wants the older woman, he wants to be looked after, he wants her experience, he wants everything, but he has the confidence that he will not get over dominated by her. Now, that kind of thing, the men are sharp enough, that they would, like I told you, they want an assertive woman, but not an aggressive woman. So that is already taken care of by the choice of woman that they have chosen. That the woman is the kind, as I told you, she's very graceful, she's very feminine. That feminine grace is there. And a woman who has a feminine grace will never, ever try to dominate. She, I would use another term, she would mesmerize the person but not dominate a person. It's like that कि वो उसको इतना kind of जिसको बोलते हैं ना, that magical attraction is there. That that he is totally taken up by her without getting dominated by her, because she will not dominate. She does not try to dominate also. The woman who has that feminine grace, she normally does not try to dominate. The other factor that comes to my mind is emotional stability. See, an older woman, young girl, she might suddenly get attracted to another man. She might suddenly, she's like she's still climbing the ladder of success, of her social ladder, her career ladder. तो पता नहीं कब कोई अड़चन आ जाएगी, she will want to take up a certain job or take up a certain posting or take up a certain post or something like that, and he is sort of totally kind of nonplussed with that. So with an older woman, that risk is also not there. So there is a lot of emotional stability which comes into being, and the and plus a young woman, certain conversation she will not be able to speak. Certain things she will not be able to talk. The man also will not be able to talk to her. But with an older woman, they can have an open conversation, without thinking ki ye kaise bolun, how can I say this, how can I ask this. She is open because she's had her experiences, she has her this, and he is also, now there is curiosity at both ends also. Even the woman could be having curiosity about the man, so she can also talk to him, and he does not mind. In fact, he is very happy that she talks about it, and he will invite that kind of a thing. And I know of women who turn around and say, so and so is a friend of mine, and he's so much younger, and we have an open conversation. He just asks me anything, and I am okay with that. And even I can talk to him about anything, because there are certain things about men and women which each one wants to know. Do you do this? Do you feel this? Is this with you? How is this with you? All those kinds of questions, especially which are reserved, if you have a problem, probably your doctor will talk to you about it. But these kind of things, imagine when we were young. Just think of it when we were young, in our school days and all that. And a girl who was reaching her puberty, or who had just started her periods, she would say, like, she, amongst her female friends, there would be talk, acha, somebody has already had it, so she talks about it. The other one has not had it. She tells her, this, it is like this, it is like this, it is like this. So all these things, the hesitation, about speaking about these kind of topics with an older woman, a younger man, between them, these hesitations are not there. They can very openly talk about all this, and it's quite acceptable. So these are some of the factors. And now we have a male person joining us. Ali Bhai has come, and we women have been talking about what we think and all that. Let him also tell us what attracts a younger man to an older woman. Come on, Ali Bhai, join in.
ठीक है. No, it's
Ali
all
Bhai,
bare and there.
but Ali Bhai kindly रिकॉर्डिंग में मुझे प्रॉब्लम होती है. आप अपना वीडियो को ऑन कर लीजिए प्लीज.
Open up your video. Let us see you whilst you're talking about those topics.
Yeah. Let's not hide our faces in shame.
Yeah. I don't know. It's कुछ हो रहा है, कुछ होता है, मगर चलिए. I'll just try and put it on. मैं हमेशा मतलब I'm out in the open.
कुछ हो रहा है. आप वीडियो के बारे में बोल रहे थे या अपने दिल के बारे में?
नहीं, अब मैं तो मतलब अब देखिए, हमारे साथ तो बहुत कुछ हो चुका है, और भी उम्मीद है होने की.
तो आप बताएं, पहले अपने एक्सपीरियंस ही बताएं. Did you ever have an experience where you were attracted to an older woman?
No,
Me, yes, I was.
I just want to ask.
My teachers.
Your teacher,
yes. My teacher in school and my teacher in the university.
Yes, that is so. I would say it's so prevalent, and yet people hide it. You know,
so many people have a crush. I've met people who've told me my KG teacher, I used to have such a crush on her. I was really in love with her and things like that, So yeah.
And not only me, there were so many other boys.
Yeah, I'm sure.
और अब वो दादा वादा नाना बने. अब ये शो अगर जाएगा मीना जी का, उनके तो बिल्कुल आंखें खुल जाएंगी. और कहा ऐसे कॉपी ऑफ सम अदर शो टू फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, सो ही वाज वेरी हैप्पी. ही सेड हां, ऐसे और होने चाहिए. बेयर एंड डेयर, वो जो आपके था, कहते हैं उसका था,
हाँ जी. So नहीं अली भाई, आप एक बात बताएं.
Now
आपने
this will
बोला,
also and most of our school.
नहीं
मैंने बोला कि हाँ.
आपने कहा कि you were attracted. What we want to know is, why were you attracted? What was it that attracted you?
It was attraction on basis of sexuality. What do you call this thing? That's why.
Yeah, that's the first thing for both that age. Yeah, that's very true.
18, 19. You I mean, you're full of energy.
Yes.
So I mean, why should I lie?
Your hormones are doing the kathak inside you.
और जब बॉबी आई थी तो उसने तो और हैवक क्रिएट किया था. बॉबी मूवी सर्वाइवर्स.
Right.
Bobby thing, and there was,
slight hint of a relationship like that.
यादों की बारात, पता नहीं क्या क्या हम लोग. those were so many interesting things. And we used to compare ourselves to the heroes and the heroines जो भी थी कि हम लोग हमारे टीचर हीरो हैं तो हम लोग ये करेंगे वो करेंगे और आई मीन ये बचपना था मैम आई मीन इतना सादगी और इतनी क्या कहते हैं इनोसेंस हाँ हाँ the innocence of youth
right
and
I will over here try differentiate between two sets of younger men. एक होता है जैसे आपने बताया स्कूल एंड कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स यू नो दैट टीनेज दैट वेरी वेरी फॉर्मेटिव इयर्स और एक होता है लेटर ऑन आफ्टर 25 या आफ्टर 30 यू नो तो इन दोनों के रीजंस बड़े अलग होते हैं एंड वेरी राइटली एज यू पॉइंटेड आउट कि वो स्कूल टाइम का तो ये होता है कि बिकॉज एट दैट टाइम हार्मोन्स आर रनिंग यू नो दे आर डूइंग द कथक एब्सोल्युटली दे आर डूइंग द टैंगो इनसाइड यू तो उस वक्त तो ये होता है कि वो कैसी है कैसी लगती हैं उनकी फिगर कैसी है उनकी बॉडी कैसे होती है एट दैट टाइम इट इज दैट बट लेटर ऑन इट इज नॉट द बॉडी alone there are many other factors you know so there are two yeah we could classify them in two sets of type of youngsters who get attracted to older people older women
yeah and these the second set that Meena ji is talking about these are the relationships that somehow that quite often
they survive they go long
they pan out they either turn into a long term relationship or a marriage or whatever जो स्कूल में नहीं होता है कॉलेज में नहीं
वो जो younger school and college में होता है ना those we can call them as infatuation and a crush on somebody but जो बाद में होता है वो infatuation and crush नहीं होता वो एक proper relationship हो जाता है फिर
and that is also the Oedipus complex also in some
Oedipus complex we have spoken about तो
वो होता है after 25 कि भाई मेरी माँ जैसी कोई मिल नहीं रही मुझे
sorry to say मेरी बड़ी बहन जैसी कोई मिल नहीं रही मेरी माँ जैसी कोई मिल नहीं रही बिकॉज बड़ी बहन भी एक माँ जैसी होती है ना
तो वो किसी और ने उसको फटकार दिया होगा अच्छी तरह से
राइट तो
है ना he must have made a lute pass और फटकार दिया होगा तो कहा नहीं माता जी शी इज नॉट अप टू माय स्टैंडर्ड वो माँ है अब वही संस्कार माँ के देखोगे और बहन के देखोगे तो कैसे चलेगा आगे भाई
राइट
तो ये हिपोक्रेसी है और ये रहेगी
तो अदर देन ओडिपस कॉम्प्लेक्स और क्या हो सकता है
वही है मैम कि आपको बताता हूँ कि देयर इज अ काइंड ऑफ द टाइम व्हेन दिस the human being I mean me or anybody else the man he wants to be nurtured again as a child क्योंकि या तो corporate life हो
we're talking about the same
corporate life हो या गवर्नमेंट लाइफ हो या कुछ हो कहीं ना कहीं उसने ठोकरें खाई होती हैं और तो उस ठोकरों से देख के कहता है कि भाई अब मुझे कुछ अपनी मतलब आंचल चाहिए मुझे कुछ अपना सर रखने के लिए
राइट
तो ये चीज है ये मैं लोगों को देख देख के आपको बयान कर रहा हूँ और अपुन का ऐसा केस तो नहीं था अपुन का केस बाद में बताएगा
okay we're looking forward to hearing but we are reassured to know that Meena ji your and my estimates about why this happens is not so off the beaten track. I mean, the men also seem to agree with whatever the reasons that we were quoting, right?
Madam, this bloody fool man is agreeing, but other men might not agree. You know, those who with a different attitude. How can you talk like that? Huh? You must be suffering from some kind of complex.
That's why we call it a taboo subject, right? That's why we're giving it that heading. So,
so I know I am straightforward. That's why I suffer, but I feel I can sleep better.
नहीं ये जो आपने एक बात बोली है ना अली भाई which is, like hitting the nail on the head. It is spot on. And that is a man, जब वो बाहर इतनी ठोकरें खा खा कर आता है, इतने challenges face करके आता है, he needs a soothing shoulder, and that is where an older woman is definitely more equipped emotionally to give him that soothing shoulder than a younger woman, because younger women के साथ तो competition हो जाती है ना. It's very competitive. So that this point which you have mentioned, Ali Bhai, is very, very spot on. He seeks a soothing shoulder. What else?
What else is there, ma'am? Then चक्कर ये है कि वो दर बेदर की ठोकरें खा के कहीं ना कहीं तो उसको
सुकून चाहिए.
सुकून चाहिए नहीं, and maybe he is the prey to somebody else who's preying on him quietly and he's not aware of that. And maybe she wants to say convey it to him and he has not been able to convey it to her. So ये चक्कर है. So ये it's not only between males, it comes between females also. और female भी कहती है कि मैं कहूंगी तो क्या कहेगा, इसकी माँ से नहीं मिली. Then they also seek a person who doesn't have so much of dependency on parents, or he is the lone child, son. And अभी मैं आपको एक I'll just 2 seconds I'll tell you. I have a niece, my friend's niece.
आप कहाँ हो?
मैम मैं अभी सड़क पे हूँ on her majesty's work. तो मैंने कहा कि आप लोग को हम कहीं ना कहीं बैठ के बातें कर लेते हैं. अब हम कभी पेड़ के नीचे बैठ लेते हैं, कभी सड़क पे, मगर the show must go on.
The show must go on, yes.
तो वो हमें कहती है कैसा आदमी है ये, बंजारे की तरह घूमता रहता है. तो ये है कि वो लड़की आई और कहा कि अंकल. मैंने कहा हाँ बेटा, यू मस्ट बी यू नो आई एम गोइंग टू गेट मैरिड. मैंने कहा कैसे? कहती है हमने सब तय कर लिया. मैंने किसके साथ तय किया है? और द फादर हैड हिज हेड डाउन इन शेम.
अच्छा.
द मदर इज आल्सो प्रोफेसर, शी हैड हर हेड डाउन इन शेम. मैंने कहा बेटा और क्या, तो मैंने उसको किस किया, सब किया, मेरा बच्चा, अब तू चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा, मुझे कौन डांटेगा?
मुझे कौन डांटेगा? अच्छा.
नहीं भाई, शी इज लाइक अ चाइल्ड टू मी, नो डॉटर. हाँ. तो नहीं अंकल मैं आऊंगी, ये है वो है. मैंने कहा बेटा आप ये डिसाइड कैसे किया तुमने? See, I was going around with that guy, and he didn't seem to be too up to the mark. So listen very carefully. I said, why, beta? See, he asked me to change my job. I'm a script writer. I'm a double MA in English and this and that, and I've done my course at FTII. Very good. So excellent. But he told me that he didn't. I should take up some other profession because I was not doing well. I said, and then how did you meet this Johnny? He said, I just met him by chance and he liked my work and he liked him. And our chemistry, sort of
sparked.
And you decided there and then that you have to get married without consulting his parents and without consulting your parents. So, आजकल का जमाना बहुत बदल गया है संगीता जी.
नहीं, सही कह रहे हैं आप, बिल्कुल सही. And
then my wife said कि हाँ हु ऐसा. मैंने कहा भाई ऐसा ही होना है, होने दो. Don't.
Was it the reverse age difference as well? Yeah, normal age difference.
No, I think she is about 28, 10 years difference.
He's older or she's older?
He's older.
She's older.
She's younger. वो तो अभी तक बच्चा. I mean, according to me, she's a बच्चा.
वो तो हमने बहुत सुना, because exactly what we were talking about, Meena ji, would the same thing that attracts these younger men to older women, in a way that also attracts younger women to older men, and with much more reason, I would say, because
yes.
So men are, the older they grow, they are like fine wine, they mature, they don't become old. That's the, the way the society thinks of them, unlike in the case of women. So ek to wo hota hai. Dusre, as we were discussing, when, a 15-year-old girl would be probably much more mature than a 15-year-old boy. In that sense, emotionally, mentally, everything. So she finds an older man to be more of a companion. Then, of course, there's the question of success and finances and all, because this man is already established. And so why younger women would go for a sugar daddy, as the term, is more understandable to most people than why a younger man would go for an older woman. So that is what we are trying to discuss. और आपने भी confirm किया कि हम ठीक सोच रहे थे कि it's a question of, एक तो he wants to be looked after. It's a particular kind of a man who is looking after, who's looking for a mother figure or an older or sister figure or whatever it might be. जैसे पहले आपको हमें सबको ही पता है, a lot of men used to go to the kotas not for sex, but just to be able to talk to someone, which they could not do at home with their wives or with their families or whatever, because these were liberated women and they could talk about. So probably they look at older women in the same way, that this is someone I can talk to, I can interact with without any problems. She will not judge me, right? So ye bhi hota hai. Then thirdly, I was saying, ye bhi hota hai experience. The woman is more experienced, so sexually also, that also attracts the man. And the fact that she's lived, lived longer than him, she's already established. He doesn't have to take care of her, she will take care of herself and of him. So that's, also a big issue. So हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि क्या factors होते हैं जो these younger men, not every man, no. I would say a majority of them would still go for younger women. But I think these men are either evolved one step more or they've devolved. I can't really decide कि वो उनके लिए ज्यादा important क्या है, to be looked
after. आजकल बड़े बहुत gold diggers भी हो गए हैं. I'm sorry to say that.
Gold diggers, exactly. वो gold diggers तो हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल वो हमेशा से ही रहे हैं, हमेशा से.
गोल्ड डिगर्स भी हो रहे हैं और वो देखते हैं कि हमारा फायदा क्या है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. एंड नाउ इट्स बिकम रिवर्स ऑल्सो. पहले गोल्ड डिगर्स ओनली वुमेन हुआ करती थी, है ना?
नहीं वुमेन नहीं, आजकल मेन में है.
Exactly. वही मैं कह रही हूँ कि अब these things have changed because women have become independent financially and in the way they live, they can maintain a lifestyle without any help or support from the guy. So definitely for the guy it's much easier to climb onto the bandwagon, और वो जहाँ जाएगी मुझे भी साथ ले जाएगी. तो पहले this used to work only in one direction because very few women were probably in a position to provide that kind of financial security to a man. अब हैं. Now there are lots of us, right, who can do that. I say us also because, I've also gone through a relationship, a marriage actually, which started with the same factors you were saying, not very much younger, 4 years younger. And things started in a very positive way because, the same thing, that admiration and that, whatever. And then unfortunately just devolved very badly, very badly. It was just like, it destroyed me, it destroyed everything for a while. And it was, so I guess I was just unfortunate, but I'm fortunate in the sense that it did not disturb me in the financial security point of view. I have
emotionally you get shattered.
Emotionally I was destroyed, but financially ना मैं उस पे कभी dependent थी ना आज हूँ. तो
और ना होंगी कभी होंगी
और ना होंगी. तो that applies to a lot of these women who are in this kind of relationship. They're so financially independent and secure that the guy doesn't have to worry about अरे वो कल मुझसे पैसे मांग लेगी, अरे वो मुझसे ये. So I think that is also a reason why some guys, as you said, the gold digger variety, they go for that.
No, I tell my nieces and I tell my जो भी है, I said first establish yourself, make yourself better than the man, and let him not
Great
think
advice.
that you are weak.
Yeah.
And you're not a baby making machine.
Absolutely. That's very,
so
very nice.
That is what I've told them. And I also discussed something with Meena ji yesterday, that amongst us there was a certain custom of marrying into cousins.
That's right. Unfortunately.
And cousins, why? Because of the fear of the relationship, and also the man who's not so experienced sexually would get they would fall prey to his designs. You understand? And the girl would not have the courage to protest or dissent with his wrongdoings. क्योंकि रिश्ता है, हाय मेरे भाई हैं, मेरे कजन हैं, मेरे उस मामू के, मेरे उसके रिश्ते हैं. So I tell them, I said, don't marry into your cousin.
Yeah.
Keep away.
Yeah.
Keep away. Marry somebody, कोई फिरंगी मिल जाए, कोई मिल जाए, कोई चीनी मिल जाए, मगर अपनों में नहीं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल,
हो
आप
सकता
सही
है वो
कह
तुम्हारा ज्यादा ख्याल करे. माय वाइफ सेज कि तुम तो बस ऐसी नसीहत दोगे. अब हम क्या करें?
That's very sane advice. Very sane advice. And as you rightly said, that is why it is so important for women to be financially independent. Of course, it can also attract the wrong kind of gold diggers, as you were saying, but at least that doesn't leave you devastated in that sense. So I think that way also relationships like this do work out sometimes, because the man doesn't want the botheration of having to take care of this woman financially also and support her and this, that. And if the relationship breaks, he knows that she's not probably going to fight him for every penny. Maintenance do, mujhe support do, ye karo, wo karo. So he's in that sense more secure in that. So that could be one reason. And we are not saying that there's only one reason why men fall for older women, but there's a whole bouquet of reasons that, so this could be one of them, as you very rightly.
Relationships, then, marrying into the family to keep the economy strong. That's one thing. Like in amongst the Tibetans, 5 brothers marry one girl. There's shortage of women there in Tibet.
No, it's not shortage of women. It's shortage of land available for agriculture. This happens in Teri Garhwal region.
Yeah, in the tribal area.
Where 5 brothers, up to 5 brothers in the same family can have one wife. That is because that way the land which is the property, the land which is available, which is in short supply, does not have to be divided amongst too many people. It is because of that. And taking the cue from you about inter-family marriages, in a way, it has been also proven that family marriages should be avoided as far as possible, because they could give rise to congenital problems also.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Parsis.
Like the Parsis and all.
Destroyed themselves by marrying within
small they have almost destroyed, they've reduced their numbers because of that. Not only Parsis, but if you know, there's another community which is almost going extinct, and that is the Armenians.
Yes.
That's
the
right.
Armenians. I have met Armenians. I was at Chennai, and I happened to find on the net that there was one ancient Armenian temple, and I went looking for it. And I went and spoke to the person. The fellow who was doing the priest over there was one amongst only four Armenian people living in Chennai. And they couldn't find a bride for him. And he wanted an Armenian wife only.
Could have gone to Armenia and got one.
No, they tried to connect him to Calcutta, where there are more Armenians.
Yeah, that's
true. So over there also he couldn't find. Over there he said, if I manage to find one from there, it's fine. Otherwise, I'll go to Armenia. But there were only 4 people. And in the world, I forget the number now, but there are very few Armenians. They're almost going extinct. So that is one of the reasons. Now, and coming back to, again, the age gap between this, I had a neighbor who was about, she was about 15 years younger than her husband. Okay. And she used to be very happy about it. So she said, when I got married, so my husband said, our age difference is ideal, because now you're a teeny bopper and I'm going to look after you. I'll take care of you. And then when I grow older, by then you would have matured, and then you will look after me. So
it never struck him that she might mature and fall in love with someone else and move rather than taking care of an old man.
She used to dote over her husband. So probably that thought never came into their mind, but it was a very convenient thing, that when you're younger, so then the man looks after you. Why do you think that, and even our parents used to say that it is always better to have a husband older than you know? So
it's better to be an old man's darling than a young man's slave.
It's exactly, it's better to be an older man's darling.
Kindly, just sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. Kindly get the recording going on. I'll come back within 5 minutes. Kindly, please.
Okay. Thank you, Rajiv ji, for this announcement. Okay. So anyway, coming back, now the other thing also happens that younger women also fall for older men, because they have achieved, their success, their experience, their maturity. It's the same things that attract a young girl to an older man. So it doesn't happen only that young men are attracted to older women, but young women are also attracted to older men. And what we are actually talking about this on this topic, on this platform, is that this should not be a taboo subject. This should be openly discussed, and parents should openly discuss it out when they are talking to their children. If they come across, like they say, thank God that the daughter has not found another girl to get married to, and the boy has not found another boy to get married to. At least it is the opposite sex. So, लेकिन अगर age difference है, so it should not be such a big issue in the family. It should not be treated as a taboo कि अरे young man हो गया तो older woman के साथ कैसे? Because there's another factor. I'll tell you, this is a very interesting factor that I'm going to tell you. कि when you are beyond a certain age, like when you are, say, beyond 30 or 35, you are a mature person. You are a mature person. And let's say your partner is about 45 or 50. Okay? So basically, both of them are mature. So at that time, when both of them are mature, when it's a decision between two mature people, then the number of the age should not matter.
Yeah.
Whether it is older woman and younger man, or whether it is older man and a younger woman, because both of them are mature enough to decide what they want. So that's another factor to be considered. Like they say, if there is mutual consent, then there should be no taboo about a physical relationship. We should discuss this in another topic on another day or in another session about physical relationships out of marriage. But basically, relationships, here we are talking about relationships between people who are mismatched in age. So it should not be a taboo subject anymore. I think families should discuss this, should talk it out, and should be very open about it. I'm not saying willingly accept or not accept or whatever. And another point I will slightly disagree with Sangeeta ji when she says the man is either evolved or devolved. I don't think it is either evolved or devolved. It is just a personal consideration and a situation. That's it. There's nothing about being evolved or devolved.
I was just.
Yeah, I think you said it in jest. Yeah. But the thing is that it is a situation that plays a part when there is an age difference between the two, whether it is man to woman or woman to man, So I think with that, we, unless any one of you has something more to contribute.
I just wanted to ask, how would you, do you have a son?
I have a son, yes.
So how would you feel if you walked in with an older woman and said, Mama, I want to marry her? Would you be okay with that? Very frankly.
Are you talking to me, older woman, yes, or are you talking to Mr. Ali?
Both of you. Both of you. I'd like to hear what your response would be. Ali साहब, आपका भी बेटा है या बेटा है?
बेटा है मैं.
आप दोनों से मैं पूछ रही हूँ. अब ये
I've told him. You see, my son came to me the other day and he says, I like this girl.
हाँ.
I said, I had no objections, but
हाँ.
if you're serious and I mean, you go ahead, but we would like a marriage. Hmm? We don't want a live-in relationship. But if you're not serious, then you enjoy yourselves and part your ways. I'm sorry I use this language, huh?
No, no, not.
Enjoy your work, enjoy yourselves and part your ways. But at the same time, I think she's slightly elder to him. So, but if you're not serious about grandchildren or having children, then I think you should look for something else. And I said I'd like to talk to the girl also. तो अब देखिए क्या फैसला होता है दिसंबर में.
Okay, all right.
Ali bhai,
जी मैम.
over here I would like to say something. कि हम अपना बच्चा पैदा होता है ना, तो हम उसको बोलते हो, अरे मेरा छोटा चुन्नू मुन्नू, तुम बड़े होगे, तुम पढ़ोगे, तुम लिखोगे, बड़े आदमी बनोगे, बड़ी गाड़ी होगी, बड़ा बंगला होगा, बड़ा मोटर होगा, तुम बड़े साहब, बड़े बाबू बनोगे. किसी ने आज तक ये कहा है कि तुम बड़े होके बुद्ध बनोगे या तुम बड़े होके गुरु नानक बनोगे? उनको पूजते सब लोग हैं, लेकिन कोई चाहता नहीं है कि मेरा बच्चा गुरु नानक या बुद्ध बने.
वही मैं पूछ रही हूँ, इसीलिए मैं
सो नाउ आप बात कर रहे हो कि ये सब एक्सेप्टेबल होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए. एंड व्हेन यू टॉकिंग अबाउट योर ओन सन, आप बोल रहे हो कि देखो शादी होनी चाहिए, लिव इन नहीं होना चाहिए. अरे भाई, लिव इन क्यों नहीं? लिव इन, ऑफ कोर्स दिस विल बी अ टॉपिक व्हिच विल कम इन अ लेटर सेशन बिकॉज वी हैव लिस्टेड दिस टॉपिक. ओके, तो लिव इन नहीं होना चाहिए. तो लिव इन में क्या टबू है? व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? अच्छा, दूसरी बात कि अगर बच्चे चाहिए, ये है, अगर बच्चे ना चाहें तो व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? क्या है?
यही बात सही
है ना. लेकिन हम दूसरों के लिए बोल सकते हैं कि नहीं, इट्स ओके, लेकिन अपने बच्चे के लिए अगर वो बोले कि हमें बच्चे नहीं चाहे, तो हम बोलते हैं भाई परिवार कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा? राइट. सो दिस इज एन एटीट्यूड, यू नो, कि हम पूजते हैं गुरु नानक को और बुद्ध को और महावीर को, लेकिन हम चाहते नहीं कि अपना बच्चा भी
हमारा बच्चा सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के सन्यासी.
एक बात तो आपकी है मैम.
नहीं चाहते.
जब आपका एक बात सुनिए मेरा जी. हाँ, जब आपको पोता हुआ या पोती हुई तो आपको खुशी हुई कि नहीं?
बिल्कुल हुई.
हाँ, तो वैसे हमको भी थोड़ी सी खुशी चाहिए, ज्यादा नहीं.
नहीं नहीं, वो है, मैं मानती हूं, लेकिन अगर ना होता, इफ माय सन वुड हैव टर्न्ड अराउंड एंड सेड कि हमें नहीं चाहिए, राइट, तो मुझे एक्सेप्टेबल होता या नहीं होता? दैट इज द मेन क्रक्स ऑफ इट.
वो हालात देखिए, दूसरा नजरिया है. क्या आपकी फीलिंग्स होती, क्या आपका अंदरूनी?
अरे हमारा एक दोस्त है, एक कलीग है, जिसने अपनी जिंदगी में सबसे बड़ा, हम बोलेंगे कि एक बोझ ले लिया कि अगला बंदा के बच्चे नहीं थे, एंड ही डिडंट वांट एनी चिल्ड्रन, राइट. लेकिन माँ ने इतना परेशान किया, इतना परेशान किया, फाइनली ही वाज सिंगल व्हेन ही वाज 50 or 51 or 52. ओके, लेकिन माँ ने, क्योंकि बड़ा भाई था, उसने शादी नहीं की थी, और वो थे, उनके बच्चे नहीं थे. माँ ने इतना परेशान किया, इतना परेशान किया, दैट इवेंचुअली दिस पर्सन अडॉप्टेड 2 children. ओके, एंड 50 की 52 की उम्र में, एंड पता लगा कि अभी वो, और अडॉप्ट करने के लिए उनका इतना सारा खर्चा हो गया कि जितनी सेविंग्स थी सारी चली गई, एंड वो स्ट्रगल कर रहा है. अब बंदा 50 की उम्र में, 52 की उम्र में उसने 2 बच्चे अडॉप्ट कर लिए, एंड बिकॉज दे वर ट्विंस, तो 2 बच्चे अडॉप्ट कर लिए. और आप सोचो कि अब अगले 20 साल तक वो बंद गया, राइट. माँ ने बस को ये कह दिया कि हमें मोक्ष नहीं मिलेगा, हमें मोक्ष नहीं मिलेगा, हमको मोक्ष चाहिए, इसलिए तुम्हारे बच्चे होने चाहिए. मान उसका दिमाग खा खा के उसको ये फोर्स किया गया कि तुम्हारे बच्चे होने चाहिए.
तो ऐसा है कि अब आई हैव टू चेंज द
तो
माइंडसेट ऑफ द मदर्स आल्सो।
या तो ये बातें होती, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, कि लोग ये जो है ना कि बच्चा होना चाहिए, परिवार आगे, अरे यार तुम्हारा कौन सा परिवार कैनेडी का परिवार है या कोई इतना इम्पोर्टेंट परिवार है जो कि आगे नहीं चला तो कोई द वर्ल्ड विल लूज समथिंग,
वो तो सही
है ना? तो
तो
इट्स ओके, तो दीज आर द थिंग्स व्हिच हैव टू बी कंसिडर्ड आल्सो। ये बहुत सारी बातें, ये जो हम बोलते हैं ना कि दूसरे के लिए ठीक है लेकिन अपने लिए ठीक नहीं, हमें इससे ऊपर, वी हैव टू राइज अबाउट दैट।
Absolutely, I agree with you. But as the mother of only 2 daughters, I don't have a son. I would be very happy if my daughter came home one day with somebody who's 7 years, 8 years younger, said, "Mama, I want to marry." मैं तो अभी बस यही pray कर रही हूँ कि कर ले शादी, 10 साल छोटा हो तो भी चलेगा. So I have no issues on that front at all. But आप लोग के बेटे थे इसलिए मैंने पूछा आपको कैसे feel होगा अगर वो अपने से बड़ी उम्र की लड़की से या लेडी से वो शादी करना. So it could be someone who has been married before, that woman, maybe she has a child.
Yeah,
Would you
that's
accept
okay.
that? Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
exactly. So that's good to know. That's good to know. So मैं बस यही पूछ रही थी. So
anyway, I think we have done a good job of the topic. Thank you, Ali भाई. कम से कम आए तो देर सही लेकिन आए तो
आ गए.
Ali sir, thank you very much for contributing.
नहीं बहुत अच्छा लगा.
फिर देर लगी आने में तुमको, शुक्र है फिर भी आए तो, शुक्र है फिर भी आए तो.
आप लोग का भाई इतना बड़ा सम्मान दिया आपने, इतना खुशी हुई. और ये टॉपिक ऐसा चलना चाहिए क्योंकि आजकल अवेयरनेस की बहुत जरूरी है.
यस.
अली भाई एक और कॉम्प्लीमेंट हम आपको देंगे. यू नो आते हैं लोग, बहुत से आते भी हैं और बहुत सीरियसली बात करते हैं. दे हैव अ वेरी सीरियस पर्सनालिटी. आप आते हो ठीक है, पार्टिसिपेट भी करते हो, पर हंसते खेलते आते हो और हंसते खेलते पार्टिसिपेट करते हो, उसमें हमको बड़ा मजा
आना चाहिए. हवा की झोंका की तरह आना चाहिए और जाना चाहिए ताकि
नहीं, और हर एक चीज बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. तो वो जो आपका एक पर्सनालिटी है ना, हंसते खेलते आते हो, हंसते खेलते पार्टिसिपेट करते हो और हंसते खेलते जाते हो, वो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
थैंक यू. आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका.
और आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि जब भी राजीव जी बोलते हैं, मैं बोलती हूँ अरे अली भाई को बुला लीजिए, अरे अली भाई को बुला लीजिए. हम तो बोलते हैं उनको अली भाई को बुला लीजिए. हाँ जी. तो वो एक you add so much of that good energy, that lightness, smiling energy. Yes,
lightness to the
yeah, बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
देखिए हर उसमें कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए. अभी कुछ दिन बीमार पड़ गया था तो मुझे कहा कि आपको क्या हो गया. मैंने कहा देखिए कुछ नहीं हुआ है, मर्द और मोहब्बत की कोई उम्र नहीं होती है. अच्छा.
बहुत सही कहा. लेकिन इसमें औरत नारी को भी ऐड कर लीजिए.
इंसान की मोहब्बत की कोई उम्र नहीं होती. लेट्स पुट इट दैट.
कोई उम्र नहीं होती है.
जब प्यार होता है तो होता है, और जिससे भी होता है.
वो डॉक्टर थे कहते हंसने लगे.
I have my knee which has been, there's surgery and I am confined to my room for 2 months. थोड़ा बहुत हम चलते हैं घर के अंदर because of my surgery. तो लोग मेरे फ्रेंड्स कभी देखने भी आते हैं, करने आते हैं, तो हम हंसते खेलते बात करते हैं उनके साथ में. आई शेयर एंड थिंग लाइक दैट. तो मीना जी हाउ आर यू? मैंने कहा हाउ एम आई, मैं चंगी भली हूँ, सब कुछ ठीक है. ये मेरा जो पैर है ना वो थोड़ा सा उदास है, पर वो भी ठीक हो जाएगा बहुत जल्दी. पर मैं ठीक हूँ, यू नो. तो दैट इज द थिंग. आई मीन हम क्यों उदास. मैं छोटी सी थी, मुझे याद है, तो बुखार होता था, कभी कुछ होता था, तो मम्मी बोलती थी खेलने मत जाओ. तो एक दिन हमको बहुत गुस्सा आया. हमने बोला मम्मा आपने कभी देखा है कि जो वो कीड़े